Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Vicky and today I'm going to be taking you through a week's worth of dinner ideas. But before we get started, I would like to thank the people over at the Jonple App for sponsoring this video. If you don't know what the Jonple App is, it's basically a health and fitness app where you can input all your details and then they will create a tailored nutrition plan for you, a bespoke fitness plan, and there's also a mindfulness and motivation section. So you get all your food worked out for you, your exercise, your rest days, everything you could need all in one place. I've been using it for over 3 months and I absolutely love it. I have done a full what I eat in a day video where I did a whole day's worth of meals from the app, from breakfast to lunch, dinner, snacks, all of it, and I take you through a lot more in-depth information. So if you would like to know more about that, I will leave that video linked down below. And I will also pop a card up now. The meal plan inside of the app is definitely my favourite part. There's step-by-step instructions on how to make each and every meal. And there's also a video for every meal that you make so that you can just watch along. Sometimes when you read through instructions, it doesn't quite make sense, but you can actually have the video playing whilst you're cooking. And I do that quite often just so that I can keep up and know that I'm doing things right. So with all that being said, let's go and take a look at some of the meals we've had this week. So the first meal this week is actually one from the Jonple app, and as you can see I've got the app open in front of me and all my ingredients laid out, so then you can just click on the meal you want and follow the instructions. So I've got everything here we need to make a creamy mascarpone chicken. So for this recipe you will need some chicken breast, some parsley, some mascarpone cheese, we've got some chives, a clove of garlic, some olive oil, Dijon mustard, we've got some onions, some whole wheat pasta, mushrooms, and 200 ml of chicken stock. So now I've got everything ready, I'm going to start making the dish. This is the perfect app for someone that maybe is a little bit daunted by cooking or who finds recipes a little bit of a struggle sometimes. They are really so simple and there aren't hundreds of ingredients, and if you want you can follow the written instructions instead. It's completely up to you, so you don't have to keep pausing and going back. You could just read out what you need and you're much more likely to stick with a plan that's easy to follow and to carry out. So the first step is to get our pan nice and hot with our olive oil, and then we're going to add our chicken into it. I've just seasoned the chicken with a little bit of salt and pepper, and I'm going to leave it for about 5 minutes on each side till it goes nice and golden brown. Whilst this is cooking, I've put on some water for my pasta. I've used 75 grams of whole wheat pasta, and I'm going to cook it for 7 to 8 minutes just until it's cooked but still a little bit crunchy in the middle, because it will continue cooking towards the end. Once you have cooked your chicken on both sides for about 5 minutes and it's nice and brown, we're going to remove it from the pan and put it on a separate plate to cool. Using the same oil but on a slightly lower heat, I'm going to add my onions and cook these for around 2 minutes, and then I'm going to take my cooled down chicken and chop it into pieces that are roughly 1 centimetre thick. It doesn't have to be exact, just cut them into like bite-sized pieces. Then I went back and added my mushrooms and my garlic in with my onions and let them cook until the mushrooms went nice and soft. Once the mushrooms were cooked, I added in my cooked chicken. Then to this I popped in the chicken stock, the Dijon mustard, the mascarpone cheese, and then the parsley. And what you're going to want to do now is just let it all simmer together and let the sauce thicken a little bit. Once the sauce starts to get a bit thicker, I added in my cooked pasta that I had set aside and let it all thicken up together. The pasta will take on some of the liquid as well. And then it's just a case of dishing it up and sprinkling some chives over the top. This is an absolutely amazing recipe. It's so simple, but it tastes like something you would get in a restaurant. It's one of my new favourite pasta dishes, and I think we will be making it very, very often. So Jonple are currently offering a 2-week no obligation free trial. So if you like the idea of it, I really recommend that you check out the links in the description box and go and give it a go. You have nothing to lose, and I really do think a lot of you will enjoy this app and find it really, really useful. So I am just going to marinate some turkey to go on top of the pizzas that I'm making tonight. So I've got some fat-free Greek style natural yogurt from Tesco, and I've also got some medium tikka curry powder, and I'm just going to try and mix it up in myself. Just going to put a couple of big dessert spoons of yogurt, probably 3, and then I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of the tikka powder, And then I'm just going to mix it all in and then leave it in the fridge for a good few hours so that the flavours all soak into the turkey. And then I'm probably just going to pop it in the air fryer. So as a base to my pizzas, I like to use my chopper that I rave about all the time and chop onions and peppers really, really finely. I then add some frozen garlic to this and it becomes a really nice kind of vegetable base, but it's not like massive chunks of vegetable, so they cook really quickly. So today I'm using these baked earth naan breads as my bases, and basically I just top them with tomato puree. Then I put some of the vegetable mix on the tikka one, and the other one I was just going to do plain pepperoni. They both get a good grating of cheddar, and then I'm putting on my turkey that I did in the air fryer, some feta cheese, and then they just get popped in the oven. So here is our pepperoni one out of the oven, and the bases are really thin and crispy and just make really, really quick and simple pizzas. My absolute favourite is the tikka one, or sometimes I do it tandoori. And we put rocket on the top and a mint yogurt dressing, which is just fat-free yogurt and some mint sauce mixed together. It goes really, really well. It sounds odd, but it really does complement the pizza, and I really recommend if you try anything, then give this a go, especially if you are a pizza lover. So next up I decided to make a kielbasa potato tray bake. So kielbasa is like a smoked Polish sausage. So I got these in Sainsbury's, and I'm just going to chop them up and pop them in a frying pan with an onion, a tin of tomatoes, some mushrooms, I've got some frozen garlic, and then I put smoked paprika in as well because it really complements the sausage. I've also got salt and pepper to season, and I will just take you through what I did. So first up I sliced the kielbasa into slices. I also chopped up my onion and my mushrooms. So firstly I sprayed my pan with very little spray oil because you get some of the fat that comes out of the sausages. I added in my mushrooms and my onions and let these brown for about 10 minutes before putting in my garlic. Then I added in some smoked paprika and salt and pepper. I let this cook together for a bit longer before adding in my tomatoes, and then I gave it probably another 10 minutes or so. Whilst this was cooking I finally chopped some potatoes. It does look like a lot, but there are 5 of us. And then all I did was mix everything together and I put it on low in the oven for about an hour. And the reason I did it this way is because I prefer to fry the ingredients together first and then coat the potatoes with them. I find if you put all the ingredients straight into an oven tray, it just never comes out the same, and you get bits that are cooked, bits that aren't. Some things are crispy, some things aren't. So I like to make sure that I've got my base sauce ready and flavoured as I like it before adding it into my potatoes. So almost towards the end of cooking I added a layer of grated cheese and then popped it back in just till it started to melt, and we served ours with some tender stem broccoli and carrots. This went down really, really well. I recommend that you try this as well. I say that about everything, but I suppose I wouldn't put it on here if it didn't turn out nicely. So I'm just about to start making some broccoli and Stilton soup, and I've had a lot of you asking me when I put it up in my last video how I do it. So I'm going to make a massive batch so that I can freeze some, and the boys like it as well, so it doesn't go that far. So I've got 2 big heads of broccoli, I've got 2 onions, a good handful or 2 of potatoes, I've got 1 block of Stilton, some carrots. These are just things that need using up. Sometimes I'll pop in like some mushrooms, or if there's like a leek or something that needs using up, I'll chuck that in as well, but these are just what I had in the fridge. And then what I'm going to do is chop up all my veg, then I'm going to cover them with made up chicken stock, so as many stock cubes as I need to make it up as according to the instructions, and then I'll cover the veg with that. I'll probably add a tablespoon or 2 of this all-purpose seasoning depending on how much liquid I end up having. You get this in Lidl in the middle aisle when they do their Polish week. And then loads and loads of black pepper, and I'll just let it all boil away, and then when it's all completely soft I'll just blitz it with my stick blender. And then that's when you add the Stilton at the end. I just find that it makes the taste better if you pop this in at the end. If you put it in beforehand, it almost boils the cheese away and it doesn't taste very Stilton-y. And this will just melt through, and I'll put it in with the rind and everything. And it should make, I don't know how many portions, probably 12 maybe, I'm not sure, but I will show you as I go along. One thing I will say is that I use the whole of the broccoli, stalk and all. It's perfectly fine to eat, especially in soups, and otherwise it'd just be wasted. So I've put my potatoes and carrots in. I've just washed them and scrubbed, I've just scrubbed them, haven't bothered peeling them, either the carrots or the potatoes. It is really full up, but once I have started to boil it, the broccoli will just reduce down and hopefully it'll all fit. So I'm just going to add my onions and then put my stock and my seasonings in. So I've ended up putting about 2 litres or roughly 4 pints of stock in here. It's kind of squashed down already, and now I'm just going to boil it. It's probably going to take about 20-30 minutes till everything's completely soft. Then I'm going to add in some of my other seasonings and blitz it up. So now my soup is boiling away. I'm going to add a tablespoon of the all-purpose seasoning. I can always add some more a little bit later, but I'm just going to start off with one. I'm also going to add in a teaspoon of ground black pepper and just give it a stir, and then once I've blitzed it up I can taste it and see if it needs any more. So my soup is all done, and what I'm going to do now is blitz it up, and then I'm going to stir through my Stilton and portion it up, and some of it I'm going to freeze and some of it I'm going to put in the fridge. So here we are dished up, and I've just saved a little bit of Stilton to crumble onto the top. It looks a funny colour because it was a really grey day, and it didn't matter where I put it, it didn't look appetising. But I'm eating this every single day for my lunch. I usually have it in a mug, but obviously you wouldn't have been able to see it very well in there, so I popped it in a bowl just to look pretty. But I absolutely love it, and it definitely made more than 12 portions. So I'm just about to start tonight's dinner, and I'm going to make some vegetarian burgers using this Coleman's Big Night In Ultimate Burger Seasoning. It says on the back, if you want to make vegetable ones, to use 400 grams of green lentils, 250 grams of cooked sweet potato, and I've decided to add an onion in mine as well because I think it'll just give it extra flavour. So the first thing I'm going to do before I chop my onion is get this sweet potato boiling. So I use my chopper to chop my onions. I will leave this link down below if anyone is interested. I don't know if I've already said that, but I just think it's the best bit of kit that I've got in my kitchen. So I finally chopped my onions, and then I decided that I would put the lentils in this as well, because I tried doing them with a fork and I didn't realise how hard green lentils were. So I blitzed those up as well, and then all I did was mix them all together. So the seasoning, the onion, the lentils and the cooked sweet potato. Then you form it into like burger shapes. It says it makes 4, but mine came out as 5 quite big ones. And instead of frying them as it says on the packet, I decided to put mine on greaseproof paper, and I popped them in the oven. I think they took about 10 minutes either side, but they came out really, really well. And I just served them with some rocket tomato, some of the fig glaze that I absolutely love, and some of the leftover mint and yogurt dressing, and a little bit of coriander, and they just went down so well. I would definitely make them again and recommend this seasoning. So that is it for this video. I really hope you've enjoyed it. Please make sure to go and check out the Jonple app. All the details are down in the description box, including the link to that What I Eat in a Day video. I will be back really soon with some more food content, and I've also got some book content coming soon too. I know I've been promising it for months, and I'm finally getting there. If you do like this kind of thing, please make sure to go and subscribe, hit the thumbs up, and I'll be back really soon with another video. Take care, guys.